We have an update on Shanquella Robinson's murder.
The new details about the death of an American tourist in Mexico. The FBI has now opened an investigation into Shanquella Robinson's mysterious death.
And the story just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
First dead body.
A new police report reveals that Shanquella was actually still alive when a doctor arrived at the vacation home that they were staying in Cabo. Now, keep in mind, the initial report on her death certificate states that she died within 15 minutes of being injured. However, the new recent police report says that the local doctor was with her in the villa for almost 3 hours before she passed away. And according to the publication, the doctor was sent out from a nearby hospital and spent 3 hours trying to save Shanquella's life before she was pronounced dead. What's interesting about this police report is that it contradicts everything that was written on Shanquella's death certificate. And that sort of broadened the ongoing speculation of what really happened to Shanquella. The report mentioned that there was a call made around 2:13 on October 29th. The doctor arrived at the vacation home to treat her.
According to local Spanish language reports, one of the guests staying at the resort called for help around 2 p.m. upon arriving, informing medical professionals that she had, quote, drunk a lot of alcohol. A doctor reportedly said she was stable but dehydrated, suggesting she be treated at a hospital. The guests, however, insisted she stay in the villa. Law enforcement authorities not called until later, eventually declaring Robinson deceased just after 6 p.m.
Winter Donovan, the person Shanquella's father alleges delivers the fatal blow, she's the one who made the call to the doctor. She is listed as the reporting person. And so when a doctor arrived, Shanquella was given an IV because they informed him that she was drunk and that she appeared dehydrated and incapable of communicating. When the doctor insisted she should be taken to the hospital, though, the people that were with her were very adamant about having her treated at the villa that they were in instead of going to a hospital. So he stays with her, but after the IV failed to stabilize Shanquella's condition, she suffered from a seizure, which prompted Winter Donovan to call an ambulance after all. Now, while they waited for an ambulance to arrive, she was said to have been struggling to breathe. Her pulse began to slowly decrease. The doctor noticed that Shanquella's pulse had completely stopped. When the ambulance and police arrived, they continued to treat Shanquella for another 30 minutes. They did a total of 14 rounds of CPR, 5 doses of adrenaline, and 6 discharges. But her pulse was completely gone. It was never regained. And at 5:57 p.m., Shanquella was pronounced dead.
The report from Mexican authorities shows a doctor came to the hotel and tried to revive Shanquella around 3:15 p.m. on October 29th. Her friends told the doctor she drank a lot of alcohol. The article goes on to say that the doctor advised her friends to take her to a clinic, but they refused and requested she be treated on site. Well, 2 hours later, the doctor says that she had a seizure and a friend called 911. Her breathing and pulse stopped, so the doctor tried to revive her, and the article says she was pronounced dead just before 6 o'clock that night.
So I know a lot of people are questioning the doctor's medical decision to keep her in the room for 3 hours as opposed to calling an ambulance and taking her to the hospital. This is Mexico, all right? And different countries have different healthcare systems. Their laws are different. Everything is very different. This is not the United States where someone is in distress, you call 911, and immediately an EMS takes you, whether you have insurance, whether you don't have insurance. Those things are, regulated later. But this is Mexico. And maybe they wanted a payment up front. Sometimes you have to pay thousands of dollars before a doctor can even see you. Even if that was the case, they could have came up with that money. They could have called her parents. They could have called anyone. They could have used the $10,000 that they stole from her to take her to the hospital. They did not want her to go to the hospital, and they knew exactly why they did not want her to go to the hospital.
The FBI is investigating the omission of information from authorities and doctors because the official autopsy report, well, it doesn't match the police report. As you might know, it has been widely reported across America now. The autopsy says her cause of death was a spinal cord injury.
So the police reports state that she suffered from a cardiac arrest, but the death certificate says that there were grave injuries to her back and neck, and that was determined to be the cause of death.
An autopsy obtained by ABC News listing that medical professionals arrived at the villa around 3 p.m., declaring her dead within 15 minutes, citing the Charlotte native died from a severe spinal cord injury and a dislocated neck.
So which one is the truth? What did she really die of? It seems like everything is a big contradiction. First, she passed away 15 minutes after her injuries. Now we're seeing that she actually did not pass away 15 minutes after her injuries. She was alive for at least 3 hours. And at some point during the 3 hours, they contact Shanquella's mother and they let her know that, listen, Shanquella has been drinking a lot and it looks like she's having alcohol poisoning, which obviously now we know was a lie. What's even more suspicious is that Winter Donovan put her phone number on the police report, and when they try to contact her, it was disconnected. So all the truth is finally coming to light, and I can say with 100% certainty that she was lured to Mexico to be killed, and they probably thought that they would get away with murder. The fact that they didn't want her to be treated at the hospital, to me, is a confession in itself. And now that the FBI is realizing that a lot of things are contradictions, the police report, the medical report, everything seems to be a big lie. Video recordings are coming out and they're getting more and more conflicting reports. They're getting involved, and the Mexican authorities and the FBI authorities are investigating this as a homicide. So during the 3 hours that Shanquella was in the room, no one informed the doctor that she probably does have a neck or back or some type of injury. All the IV in the world is not going to help her. She needs to see a doctor. Instead, they lie and say that she had alcohol poisoning, she's dehydrated, she's not coherent. The Cabo Six had multiple opportunities to come clean or to even save her life, and they chose not to. They continued on with the lies. They continued telling the parents that it was all about the alcohol poisoning, and then they disconnected their phones, discontinued the conversation. No one has even come out with an attorney. Like, no one is even come out with an attorney saying, hey, this is the truth. This is what happened. I have the proof. Why? Because it's all lies. All of it is lies. And that's why they're in hiding. I'm telling you guys, I think they fled the country. I'm not even going to lie to you. I think they fled the country. But someone is going to crack. One person out of the 6 is going to crack. We are living in crazy times, and you have to be very careful who you keep in your circle, who you travel with, who you invite in your home, who you invite in your personal space. If people's energies start to shift, sharpen your scissors and cut them off immediately. No explanation needed, no phone call, no text. Cut them off. Unfortunately, Shanquella thought these people were her friends, and they did the worst that they could do to her. The worst. The fact that this girl was in the room for 3 hours, struggling to breathe, struggling to stay alive, and no one did absolutely anything to try to save her life speaks volumes. This is proof that they're all guilty of a crime. We're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep posting about it. We're going to keep her name alive. So someone, I'm telling you, someone out of the 6 is going to crack. And once they crack, all the dominoes are going to fall. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Like always, thanks for watching Pop Culture Decoded. I will see you guys in the next video.